Good afternoon.
Short week, Bubble.
Refresh your browsers, y'all, because today is Wednesday, November 23rd, 2011, and you are listening to Room 3026 Live.
Live.
Episode 406, a 60-minute conversation ranging from technology to pop culture. And I'm your host, Damond Nollan. We are broadcasting live. Right here in Durham, North Carolina.
I'm hungry.
It is lunch hour in the Onyx Tower.
See, how lucky for me.
Today, my co-hosts are Mr. Derek Brinson.
I am the world's funkiest man.
And
Stay funky, my friends.
Mr. Michael Renther.
Doozy.
You know, if you would just introduce me as the world's funkiest man, we would save us a whole lot of trouble.
The self-proclaimed world's funkiest
That's
man.
why you need to introduce me as the world's funkiest man. That's the whole point.
As always, we encourage listener participation. You can join the conversation by calling us via the telephone at 646-929-2689. Again, that's 646-929-2689. You can join us right here on Skype or Google Voice if you got it. Or you can chat with us right now over here at blogtalkradio.com/Damond Nollan.
I will buy another one.
That is the chat room, by the way.
Yes, indeed.
Want to give special thanks to Mr. Darren Tyler for providing our theme song. It's entitled Without You, which reminds me that without you, we would not be where we are today. So thank you so very much for all that you do.
Yeah.
Let me turn to the chat room and say hi to those who are with us right now. Of course, want to say what's up to Ego Ant, who is in the room right now. What's going on, man? Our brother from the north.
Canada. Oh, Canada.
Yo.
Canada. We also got Alan Tran is in the house. And Eileen Smith. Want to say what's up?
Love.
Yes, which we love.
For whom we have
love.
much love.
That's right. Whom we love. Much love. All right. Let me say also hi to all of you listening live and in archive.
Live.
I want to thank you guys so very much for what you do. We really do appreciate it. As we attempt to adjust our sound, says that they don't hear anything, so let's just make sure that we didn't kill it.
It's killed.
Yeah, killed it.
Did we? What's going on?
Killed it. Looks like in our effort to record this episode, hopefully you were getting what you needed, Derek.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
cool.
looking good on this end.
Good stuff. So even if you missed it on the front end, you'll probably get it on the back end.
What happened?
Either way, I don't know.
Refresh your browsers.
They just said they weren't getting any sound.
So are we getting sound now?
I can't quite tell. We'll find out in 40 seconds.
If you can hear us, press 1.
Oh, great. There we go. First refresh didn't do it. Second didn't. Third time is a charm.
So what
there
happened?
you go. I don't know. It could be me because we had turned down the main mix, and that may be how we're getting some of the sounds out.
Yeah, turning down the main
That's
mix. That's
probably
that's gonna be
Dangerous.
It's gonna be problematic. Sure.
Yeah, see, so I want to say thank you to DB Funky, first of all, because we are, as you may have just heard, we are recording this episode locally.
As in on our local computer machines.
That's correct.
Oh, I almost forgot. Stay funky, my friends.
Stay funky.
Hey, I got an announcement.
Announcement.
I just want to congratulate
Announcement.
the Duke Blue Devils last night. They just...
Did they win?
Yeah, they won.
Cool. So is that a heartfelt congratulations, or is that one of
No,
those?
it's just-
No,
it's-
I
Or is
can
that one
hear
of those
the-
like,
the-
oh man,
No, it's the...
I can hear the
yeah,
hateration.
I feel it coming.
But you know what's funny, though? The team that they played loses the same way as the last team they beat. You know, leaving threes wide open. Like, they didn't watch or scout.
Okay, so
the
wait.
game.
There are hundreds of coaches
Mhm.
within the NCAA Division I.
Yeah. And they...
Literally hundreds of coaches that make literally millions of dollars a year
True.
for their basketball coaching acumen, which entails
this is
strategy.
And this is the Maui tournament, so you know the coach has been watching other games, too.
So
it's like...
yeah.
Like guard the ball is like very prominent after, by the time you get to, take the court and coach your team.
Yeah,
Right,
all that.
Right.
Yes, and so those guys with their experience and millions of dollars,
Right.
I'm are you thinking that you're going to be able to beat those coaches too, or just Coach K with your strategy? So you're saying people haven't tried to attack the Blue Devils
I'm
with
pretty
their
sure
3-point?
I'm pretty sure you know the answer to this question. Do other teams play like Duke?
No.
Okay then. Yeah, you probably beat the other teams, yeah. But
Okay.
for some reason, when the Blue Devils take the court, you just don't guard the ball. So I'm just saying, congratulations, Coach K. Again, Maui tournament. They play today.
Okay.
They play today for the championship against.
You are such the hater.
I forget who they play, but I think it's like Tennessee or something like that. Or it could be Kansas. One of them. They played after them.
You need to stop with the haterism.
I'm just trying to figure out
It's
what is
bad
Coach
for you,
K
man.
doing. I'm just trying to figure it out,
It's bad for you.
and why everybody else ain't doing it. That's all. I'm just giving you the update.
Because they.
Oh yeah, Carolina won too, by the way. So
yeah.
and they're undefeated, and Duke's not. So
Okay.
just wanted to put that out there too. Go Heels.
Yeah.
Continue on. With
As you were.
30-26 live.
Yes, as you were. Great
Yeah.
stuff. All right. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Bob H.
What up, Bob?
Bob H. Thank you, sir. He stopped in to
this case-
say hi.
In this case, H does not stand for hater.
No. Bob has bunch of love for Room 3026 Live and all of its regular listeners. He just wants to stop by and wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving.
Likewise, indeed.
And don't forget, we will be here tomorrow. So if you guys,
Well, I'm not going to be here.
well, not here physically.
Here, as
but
in
we will
on the worldwide airwaves.
That's right. So
Yeah,
we will
okay.
be.
The
We will be
internets.
reporting
Radios.
The
while we're
interwebs.
smacking with lunch, eating turkey.
I'm gonna just have a turkey sandwich, some Easy Mac,
I'm going
some
to.
canned greens, and that's
So
it.
are you saying you're not going anywhere?
No, I'm not.
Or is that by choice?
Yeah,
So you don't want to go anywhere?
true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm just making sure, because I would definitely invite you,
I was going to say, come on down. Dude.
you know, to our party.
Okay.
So it's so as long as I know that you prefer to stay at home and put your feet up and not eat the food that is prepared for all of our friends and family,
Right.
and that's your choice,
Okay.
then I understand that.
All right.
But if you said, D, I just don't have any place to go, I would like to
This place is
eat.
for me to
Or,
go
or you
now.
could call. You've got my number, and you could say,
Right.
D, I changed my mind, and
I'm trying to get some of them shrimp grits or whatever it was last time.
shrimp grits.
Shrimp grits.
Yes, it's
that
about
must be
time.
a southern thing. I don't know anything about
Hey,
shrimp grits.
I ain't from the South, so I ain't know about it till Derek said it.
Shrimp grits.
Yeah, did I say it right there?
If you say it fast enough, what does it sound like?
Shrimp and grits.
Shrimp and grits.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds interesting.
I don't want to try.
I don't really like grits though. 'Cause
What?
that's part of the problem.
Put some sugar
I
on your
don't
grits.
like grits. No,
Put some sugar and
I'm
butter
not
on your
a
grits.
fan of grits.
I'm not a fan of sugar on the grits.
What? So what do you put on them? Nothing?
Butter, a little salt, some pepper.
Salt and pepper and grits?
Cheese.
Yeah, cheese grits are good.
Cheese.
Yeah, cheese grits.
Sometimes-
I can do
sometimes-
cheese grits.
Sometimes hot sauce.
So what's
With some
wrong
hot
with
sauce.
So what's wrong with sugar?
I'm just not a fan. It's not like
I
I
think
have-
You're not a fan
I think
of
it
sugar or-
messes up
Not-
it messes up
I'm
the
not
what
a fan
it
of
is.
sugar on grits. I like sugar in oatmeal.
Sugar and oatmeal's good. Like
That's
like
what
brown sugar and
Right.
oatmeal is awesome.
Right.
Yes, and I do understand that technically grits and oatmeal are
They're
are-
related.
they're closely related.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you, when you put the sugar on there, you'll get confused. You're like, am I eating oatmeal or grits?
Okay,
Just close your eyes. Just close your eyes.
Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I will one of these days. But at this
Put
point,
the
I'm
sugar
not getting.
in and butter in and
Man,
close your eyes.
I am not getting less
And you be
set
like,
in my
"Dang."
ways as I get older. I'm just saying.
This oatmeal grits is good.
Eileen did ask the question though. Is that going to be shrimp grits with cheese?
Yes,
Okay.
Gouda
Yes.
Gouda
Alright.
cheese
Yes.
is actually
I forgot to say that.
yeah. It's
It's
it is my
It's
darling
good.
wife. It is why I've fluffed up in the way that I have, and why I love her so.
That's why you locked it in.
Yeah.
For the shrimp grits.
Because
and
of the
cheese.
shrimp.
Well,
grits
no,
and cheese.
not for the shrimp grits
See,
in
that's-
particular, but
There's
as
a lesson to be
That's an
learned here.
incentive.
but as certainly part of a larger picture, that a very very important part of a bigger,
There's a
bigger
there is a
of the
lesson
day
to be
presented
learned
by
here.
Damond Nollan.
Baby, turn your web radio up.
Women who want to get men cook. That's the key.
They have
If you
us-
didn't know this before, let me just state it again. As Derek just pointed out, one of the reasons why he locked it down was because of the
I'm fluffy. I'm happy.
because of
I'm
the
locked
grits
in.
with shrimp and cheese.
And may I add some clarity to
Please do.
cooking?
Please do.
mean, a signature meal, like something that
you can eat for the rest of your life.
well, for the rest of your
because
life. I
that's
mean,
what it's gonna be.
like if it's seasonal, like you just can't wait for them to make it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
a
Yes.
signature meal.
Signature seasonal
Dish.
meal is a win-win.
You baby,
You got one of those.
You
has
keep
made
keeping
this
a brother in anticipation for.
And we ain't talking
the
about,
season.
in size 42-inch jeans. Thank you, baby.
but we ain't talking about like you trying to go to a potluck.
Mac
you
and
can
cheese.
always make the dip or something. We ain't
Right.
talking about dip.
No. That's not. This
A
is
dish
you
or
talking about, I ain't
dessert.
feeling you.
That
I'm feeling
one
you.
thing
Yeah.
that
thing.
you know, this is her dish.
It can even be a compliment to the meal, like
It's just,
stuff.
but it's her dish.
Yeah,
like you know that.
Like you have to go to her to get it.
If I can't go any place in the world,
Right.
out of all the people in the world, the only
Right.
person that makes it just like this
I got to.
is baby.
On a consistent, delicious,
I'm in.
regular basis.
I'm in. Call my
See-
mortgage broker. I'm all in.
And for you, that is going to be the shrimp and cheese and grits. That's what does it.
That is yes. That's not the only one, but that's
one of them.
That's the big one.
Okay. All right. And Eileen said, that's why I stopped cooking. I don't want to send the wrong messages to my friend.
Fair enough.
I got it.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
So you
Straggity.
just gonna cook
Yeah.
nasty stuff. Like, oh
Yeah.
man, I don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Well, there you go.
That makes sense. That just makes sense.
He cooks for me way more than I cook for him, but don't get it twisted. I cook way better than him, she writes.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Who
It's
writes?
as it should be.
Who writes?
That's Eileen Smith.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, at 10 minutes in, let's go ahead and take care of some business. Business. Let's do Daily Booth.
That's a double major business and business.
I'm not a business man. I'm a business
I am the business
man.
I am the business.
man.
All right. We call this part of the show, we call this Daily Booth.
Thanks.
It's where you go to take pictures. You can use your webcam, you can use your cell phone, or you can just upload a picture, whatever is easiest for you. Going over there right now to www.dailybooth.com and share your picture with us. Once you get that picture in there, you can upload that, share that URL with us in the chat room. And we will see what you guys are doing or what you are wearing.
Hey,
Or
what are you wearing? What it look like?
yeah.
Now that I've fired up the I got the old
Instagram.
XP
What
box
it
fired
look
up again. I can
like.
probably get my webcam working.
Sweet, man.
I didn't think about that.
Well, there you go.
Went to the Big Lots.
Just
got
for you.
Got a power strip.
Just for
Dollar.
Are you trying to say holla or dollar?
Dollar.
you. Holla
Oh.
dollar. All right. So here's another one
How
that I
many
took
books did you
yesterday.
get?
I got 2 books for free, and I got one of them signed, which is pretty awesome.
Yes.
So, yeah, big shout out to iFroggy, Patrick O'Keefe for
What up, Pat? Project
giving
Pat.
me a book, signing a book, too. That's pretty awesome.
Man, you could have announced that he had books on him.
That's pretty key.
Yeah, well, if you would have stayed long enough, because he had one for you.
I had to go.
He was looking for you. He said, Where's Mike
Dude.
at? I wanted to give him one.
I had the biz ounce
So that's his way of saying thank you.
You had the biggity.
by giving you a book.
Well, no, as well,
See-
he said thank you to you for supporting him,
Oh yeah, man.
and
It
this
was
was
good
his
stuff.
way of giving it to you.
It was good stuff. I learned a lot.
Pause.
You have to admit.
See.
Can it hear you?
Pause.
Oh gosh.
Pause. Okay, so anyway, we'll take a look at what you guys got. Let's see here. Eagle Ant posts his picture today. Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, man, it's in there.
That is so awesome. He's rocking the handlebars. One thing I was thinking this morning is it is amazing how facial hair can totally change the face. And I understand now what they mean by changing the face of men's health.
Oh, see, there
I get it now. Because I look in the mirror this morning, right, and I'm seeing this really bushy mustache that is on my face.
Right.
You see that? And it looks like a different person. Like it's different than the person that I think I am when I have another kind of mustache.
That's like a Mario mustache.
And I bet if I were to
It's like
continue
Italian.
growing this thing,
That's what you should do, man.
Just keep-
like curl it on the ends and get your little hat with the
Mario.
Yeah.
right?
Like get you some
So what are you saying?
some overalls.
Are you saying that I'm chubby? Is that what you're
What?
saying?
Huh?
You saying I'm a midget?
I cannot hear you.
Is that what you're saying? You say that I jump really high?
Um,
You think I need to eat mushrooms now all of a sudden?
Does he eat them?
Well, if that's the case, then I want you to be Luigi. How about that?
See, here we go.
But-
Here we go.
Mario.
But I can't
I'm just saying.
yet.
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome anyway, Aaron. Dude, I did that last year, and I hated the way I looked, but it was awesome when I put my biker outfit on. It was awesome. I was like, dude, I feel real rough and tough right now. And I bet you if I walked into a room with boots on, people would probably be afraid of me.
Like gold ones.
It's like,
Are they gonna be gold boots
no, they're not going to be gold
with
boots.
purple laces?
They're not going to be gold boots. I'm not wearing any fatigues. I'm just saying.
Like shredded T-shirts at the bottom.
And I start barking a lot. Like that, you mean?
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that.
And throwing hooks over your head.
Definitely ain't doing that.
Horseshoes.
Eileen Smith says, Damon, I knew you got those books for free. Somehow.
Some
Well,
way.
because she is a
You know me.
long-term listener,
That's right.
and she knows, because I'm quick to point it out,
Yes,
he ain't trying to pay.
you right about that. If you know me like you know me, then you know.
He ain't trying to pay.
Amen. Now you know.
That should be a segment.
The stuff I will not pay for.
Yeah, that he ain't like
Dude.
something that you got because you wasn't trying to pay. Segment.
Stuff ain't trying to pay for it. Man, we would need 3 shows. You see, with
The stuff I ain't trying to pay for. That should be a segment for real.
Yeah, for
Stuff he's not trying to pay for.
that would be a great segment. Something cool and new,
Yeah.
and something cool and new and free.
That you could get for free
Because you ain't trying to
because
pay.
I ain't trying to pay.
do 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 do
No, I can hear some-
ain't trying to
some
pay,
crazy
ain't trying
thing you
to
said
pay
with
no
that.
money, ain't trying
The
to part
top
with
10
no
things
cash.
that I can get for
trying to
free that I ain't trying to pay for.
Trying to pay.
Number 10.
He ain't trying to pay.
Everything.
Anything that has
A
power
price
source
tag
to
on
it.
Anything that has a price tag amount on it.
Funny enough, Eileen Smith says, you're the only guy I know who gets a money book for free.
That's well done, Ms. Smith. Well
Well played.
Because he ain't trying to pay.
10 things that he ain't trying to pay
done. Number
for.
1. Everything.
Number 10. A money book for free.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for that. We really do appreciate the laugh.
Dude.
That might be a good segment though. We need to don't forget that idea.
All right.
Let's put that on the books for next season.
Next season.
Yeah, we'll just
Next epi.
okay.
Well,
We'll let you work
sorta,
on that.
kinda.
All right. So let's look at our blog roll
Rolling
with the posters.
with some posters, sisters.
Guess poking.
Blog roll is when we take a look at what you guys are putting out there into the blogosphere. This is our opportunity to give you guys a little bit of room on the show.
Yep.
We'd love to give you more.
Room. Possible.
This one is entitled
Y'all do not have good sense. Y'all need to stop.
I just said it was possible.
I know what you said.
Possible cause.
A little room to grow.
Wow.
It's called Thesis Awesome Blog Skin Black Friday Sale. Comes from our girl Eileen Smith from her blog entitled Basic Blog Tips.
Blog skin.
And clearly, if you're not familiar with this at all, and she's written 80 blogs, by the way.
BBTs.
Just wanted to pass it on
Great.
to you.
Oh, this is hers?
Yeah, she wrote this one.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Good gracious alive, man.
But if you didn't know, these are basically themes, right? And thesis is actually
The sciences. I mean,
the sis.
yeah,
The sis, if you want to spell it out.
It's different from posters.
So you can get some, I guess what it is. And I think Danielle first brought this to our attention. Baldwin, I think on one of our earlier shows. She mentioned some of these new skins that you can get for your blog. I know that having a discussion with the Dyslexic in America, LL, we talked about how he too has, moved over into the world of WordPress.
the presses.
So for those of you, who are over there, this probably is good for you.
I think I'm about to. Oh,
You can make that move too.
I might.
I'm getting closer. I really am. The more you guys talk about it, the more I am convinced that maybe that is the way to go. I don't want to do it just yet because I think there's a lot of work involved.
Man, I mean, I use
But-
Blogger because I'm not really serious about it, but I have a WordPress, and I do more work on that because I get freelance opportunities that way
Ballin'.
from those that are serious. I'm just really surprised. It seems to me that the real serious bloggers like yourself are more likely than not on WordPress. I'm just kind of surprised.
Yeah. Well, here's the issue. And see, I think this whole discussion we've been having recently about where to put files has really kind of reached the point for me where I need to have my own space back. You know, like I want to put files someplace, and right now I'm having to use other sources. Like I can put my pictures out there on Picasa, which I'm fine with. You know, anytime I put a Picasa picture out there, I just put it out there and I share it. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I can put documents over there in Google Docs.
Right.
But I think where I am now getting to the point is now that I want to put audio files someplace and I want to make it playable. I have no place to put it.
I have your answer, and you'll see it soon.
Watch
me
and
work.
so I'm just looking for a place where I can go where I can put essentially unlimited amount of data.
Oh, unlimited for free?
For as close to free as possible.
Trying to pay.
It ain't trying to pay. Then that's kind of where I'm at now. And I think that's the reason why I'm looking at doing a WordPress site because
you ain't trying to pay.
Because I think that's kind of where I am today.
Okay.
So, and I only talk about WordPress because WordPress is not. I'm not going to host it. I mean, I am going to host it if I do it, but that means I have to get a host, which means it'll just be easier just to put a template out there, and call it a day. Yep. But the fact that I can develop my template to make it look like however I want, or my website the way I want, because we, Mike Render, we're having that issue now where we're trying to do blogs on another particular site, and the only thing we have to do now is essentially copy and paste the page and then write our story, which I don't want. I have been trained.
You don't want to do that?
No, I've been trained to use blogs now. That feature of like a CMS.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, so that's my long story, and then I'm sticking to it. All right. Let's see what else here. Let's move on to FeedWatch. This is FeedWatch for Wednesday, November 23rd, 2011.
FeedWatch.
This is where we constantly comb those blogs so that you don't have to.
Yep.
We give you the news that you can use because that's what we do. So you best not snooze. You will not lose. Unless, of course, you like singing the blues.
Ooh.
The music industry wants to...
What's left of it?
Serve it to Grooveshark. Because they are no stranger to the ire of the music industry, the service's approach to hosting and streaming songs has resulted in a barrage of criticism for industry players, as well as a handful of lawsuits. The latest lawsuit is actually the second one to be filed by Universal Music Group, the biggest of the major record companies. This time, UMG is suing over a claim that Grooveshark employees were required to bulk upload music files to the service, and even got a monetary bonus for beating up their upload quota. The lawsuit demands $150,000 per alleged infringement, which works out to about $17 billion.
Easy.
Yes. Also, interestingly enough, every now and again, one of those. Oh, by the way, that was from Read Write Web. By the way, this one comes from Business Insider by Noah Davis. Every now and again, one of those studies pops up which says that the youth send an average of 500 texts a minute, approximately. It's always an astonishing number, and we always wonder how they manage to do it. The answer? Text sleeping, or sleep texting, however you want to work it. Scientists report an increase in the phenomenon where people send bits of messages combined with gibberish while they are asleep, the Telegraph reports. Among, in other news, it comes from TechCrunch by Sarah Perez. Among yesterday's service shutdowns at Google, which included underperforming and deprecated web properties like Knoll, Wave, and Gears, there was also news of the end of REC, which is Well, what is that, you ask? It's one of those ambitious, we can save the world with Google money type projects that gave the search giant the appearance of caring about more than the influx of dollars. In this case, REC was focused on lowering the cost of renewable energy, or, as the acronym indicates, to make, air quotes, renewable energy, RE, less than, cheaper than coal, C, RE, less than C. Sadly, it seems that some $850 million later, Google doesn't think green technology is as good of a business deal after all.
I think that they probably aren't really bailing on the idea, but I think they have kind of begun to concentrate on that stuff that they're good at. Yeah. This is way out of their wheelhouse, you got to admit.
And in other news, this comes from Mr. Nollan, first name Damond. While responding back to Facebook friends this morning, I noticed something very odd. Instead of pressing the backspace button multiple times, I only had to press it once to remove a friend's last name. Looks like Facebook has launched a new but very minor feature on their blog, on their website today. From Business Insider, Henry Blodgett, Groupon crashes through IPO price. For a few weeks after its blockbuster IPO, Groupon's stock traded comfortably above the $20 IPO price. Well, not anymore. Yesterday, the stock tanked 10% plus, and this morning it crashed through the IPO price. And as of 9:45, it was down another 10%, which is now $18. Why is the stock crashing? It's anyone's guess. It could be that some investors are hearing bad news about Q4, or it could be that the underwriters have stopped aggressively supporting the price. It could be that the broader market, or all of the above. The bottom line is that folks aren't willing to pay as much for the stock as they were a few days ago. Samsung is going right for Apple fanboys' jugular with its latest commercial. Samsung is kicking off a new ad campaign. This comes from Business Insider Steve Kovacs. Says directly taking a swipe at Apple fanboys and the iPhone and promoting its flagship Galaxy S2 line of Android phones. We have a sample of that commercial right here.
Guys, I'm so amped I could stay here for 3 weeks.
9 hours down, and we're almost in the door.
I think 2 people just left.
Why would they be leaving when we're only 9 hours away?
Yeah, I mean, this is an event.
Uh-oh. Blogs are saying the battery looks sketchy.
You know, if it looks the same, how will people know I upgraded?
4G? Is it 4G?
It doesn't say.
Whoa. What you got there?
Not sure.
What is that? Guys.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, bro.
Can we see your phone?
Sure. Can I see with my hands?
Have you seen this thing?
Ooh, check out the screen. This thing is huge.
It's pretty massive. And it's got 4G speed.
It's magnificent.
Samsung.
Samsung? That's a Samsung. Yeah.
I could never get a Samsung. I'm creative.
Dude, you're a barista.
Why don't you guys just get 4G phones? Why don't you just get a 4G phone?
Yeah, it's a Galaxy S2. This phone is amazing.
The next big thing
The
is
Galaxy
already
S2
here.
from Samsung.
Yeah, there it is.
That was good.
Yeah. Well, it's been confirmed, and this comes from Steve Kovacs again from Business Insider. It's been confirmed that Galaxy Nexus S will launch in December. It's been a lot of confusion as to when Samsung and Google Galaxy Nexus would launch in the U.S. When the phone was first announced, the company said it would be available in November. Well, November is almost over, and they just got the confirmation that they needed, that it will, in fact, launch on Verizon in December instead. Still no word on the pricing or the exact release date. Microsoft is building a new version of Kinect for Windows PCs. The hardware will be able to see objects from as close as 40 centimeters away and will support a near mode for applications that are meant to be used while sitting close to a PC. It will also have a shorter USB cable so it can sit alongside a PC on a desk and a dongle for connecting other USB peripherals. The commercial program for Kinect for Windows will launch early next year. And that is the news that you can use right here on Room 3026 Live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, while we are here, go on over there to our Facebook page and vote on your topics of discussion for today. We will talk about the highest rated one now. And while you do that, let's listen to a word from our weekend show.
Join us this Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, as we record the latest episode of the Tech Monks podcast, discussing topics such as technology, entertainment, and the startup culture. For details on joining us live, visit techmonkspodcast.com/live.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Having gone into the Facebook page, let us see what topic we will be discussing today. Looks like at number one, let's talk about the Super Committee's failure to launch, or something along those lines. Mike Render, I can tell that you look very concerned about this.
Man, I don't even know what this is. What?
Well, let me give you, and I am definitely not the man of the hour who can explain this, but I do realize that months ago, there was a big to-do, the fact that we, that would be us in the government, those of us who were there, could not get things together to cut enough of our deficit that we have. And I think we had lost a rating in one of the 3 top rating businesses, companies, whatever you want to call it.
And that's important because a lot of America's money, the stuff that we get, comes from the idea that we essentially, a bond is like us selling shares in the country, except for it's not for a company, it's for the country. So the idea that we will repay our debts, that those shares will pay off, is one of those things that keeps our economy going. And we, meaning the Congress and the president, put together what is called a super committee because of their inability to do what they call raising the deficit ceiling, which is to say the bill came due for a lot of stuff that we bought, namely 2 wars and things like that. So we had to raise the cap on the budget in order to keep the government up and running. This has not been a problem up until the Obama administration, and suddenly a lot of his political opponents began to threaten to not do that with catastrophic potential consequences. So our bonds got derated. I mean, got devalued. And part of keeping the lights on in the House, we put together this super committee, which was charged with taking $1.4 trillion off of the budget through whatever combination of techniques they could put together, or there were going to be some mandatory cuts in the budget that everyone signed on to when John Boehner said he got 98% of what he wanted. I think my dear president played him like a Stradivarius.
Would that be an instrument, though?
Yeah, that would be a very
good thing.
Yeah. Played him. He did a lot of chest beating. We kept the lights on, and I got a whole lot of those things that I wanted, which in essence comes down to 3 or 4 words: tax cuts for the rich. That's what he said he wanted, and he got a lot of that stuff during this process that they created through this used to be just a ho-hum process. They'd put a rubber stamp on it. Yeah. We spent more money than we got to go and raise the deficit ceiling for stuff that the previous administration basically. This was not whether or not as Boehner and those of his ilk lied about. This was not a blank check for Obama to spend more of your tax money and put us deeper in debt. No, this was just signing the checks for the bills that already been previously incurred. In other words, before Obama even got in office, we had a couple of wars, and we had a pharmaceutical program, which was essentially another big kiss on the lips with a lot of money for a lot of those lobbyists and their friends in that industry. And just before Bush left office, the deregulated banking administration has took a whole lot of chances with other people's money, and the economy, again, was on the verge of collapse. Do yourself a favor if you're too young to where that was a matter of course for history classes and stuff, and that means a lot of us. check out the Great Depression. It's no joke, and we were on the verge of something way worse than that. I believe that, and Obama.
But if we bring that back up to today, though, with what they were supposed to have done, they were supposed to.
Yeah, this is
basically
this is all background information.
Right. So $1.2 trillion is what they were supposed to come up with.
Yeah, they, because no congressman wanted to be credited with either raising tax on the rich or cutting Medicare, Social Security, and or the military. Nobody wanted to go on record for voting for that. So they did for the first time in American history. They had this super committee, this little teeny subsection of Congress, which I wasn't a big fan of to begin with. And if the super committee couldn't work it out.
Then there was something on the other side which says if you can't come up with a solution, then we're going to take something from this side, which is the military. They're going to drop some budgets, like $500 trillion, whatever it is, or $1 billion on this side.
It's an unimaginable stack of money, and
then there's the other side, which is the social.
The Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security. And by the way, don't let people lie to you. Right now, Social Security is solvent for the next 20 years. It is being paid for out of your payroll deduction. It's not adding a penny to the deficit. And next time someone tells you that, tell them I said, stop lying.
So anyway, so I don't know. Did you get that? So basically, they were supposed to come up with a solution. Right, and they had months to do this.
Right,
and at the time I kept thinking, wow, they got that much time to figure out a solution. It shouldn't take that long.
Right,
but for whatever reason, because it's 50-50, right? You got 50% Republicans, 50% Democrats sitting here on this.
And
this
they was also 50-50 for 50% senators and 50% congressmen. So that was your super committee to and I think it was doomed to fail because the Republicans went into the super committee saying if this has anything to do with raising taxes. Which means raising taxes on the rich,
right?
Which got us into this mess to begin with. You don't lower taxes for the people that put the most money into the system, and my taxes went down under the. Admittedly, my taxes as a middle class wage earner went down under the Bush administration. I will confess to that. It was only a little bit, and you know what? If it would make America stronger, I would give it back. Mm-hmm. It's not that much money. It's the difference between. Okay, if you got a tax refund, add 5% or take 5% away, and that is in essence, if you are in that tax range where you're going to get a refund, chances are that's the amount of money that we're talking about. It's probably not going to seem like a big amount of money, but if you multiply it times everybody that got one, it is the way to get us out of this really potentially tragic thing that could very, very well make America into this third world banana republic country. Because
banana republic.
Well, I think maybe bacon republic, but you know,
bacon.
And it just and I think my president, as much as people dogged him for what they claim to be caving in and the compromising process, because those guys weren't going to compromise, and they said so. And if they were bluffing, the president was going to be blamed if the economy went under and the lights essentially went out and we stopped sending Social Security checks and all that stuff that's involved with a total collapse of a government failure. They were bluffing him, but he couldn't afford to call it. It would be political suicide for him to call it. Instead, he negotiated an alternative that I think perhaps, if he is as smart as sometimes I think he is, I think he knew this. I think he knew that the super committee was going to fail for the same reason that he was unable to negotiate an agreement just to keep just to pay the bills that had already been.
But that doesn't look good for anybody, though. I don't care. I don't care how you slice it. Whether he was so smart to say, you know what, I would foresee this to happen. What it looks like is he can't seem to move the ball down the field. He doesn't have the credibility. He doesn't have he doesn't have whatever it takes to get that ball down the field. The fact that he couldn't even get Boehner to have a meeting with him to discuss this and to get that thing solved says, you know what, maybe you're not the guy to make this happen. The second thing is that now you have Republicans and Democrats who can't seem to work together. So now we're stuck here saying, wait a second. So neither Democrats nor Republicans can work together. And we don't have a president that can make this stuff happen.
You know what? The president does not have a magic wand. There is a way that laws and budgets are made, and it is not his fault that they refused. They had between the filibuster and even the idea that we had to vote to raise the deficit, the debt ceiling, in order to get that stuff done. I don't think you can pin that on the president, his credibility, or his leadership.
Sure you can.
No, you can't.
Sure you can, because had it been another leader in office, would we still be in this situation?
I think if it was a Democrat leader, a leader from the Democratic Party, these guys have really turned up the heat in what I would call dirty politics. These same guys that voted to raise the debt ceiling as many as 13 times, if you talk about Boehner and McConnell, the senators, the minute Obama got into office, they started telling this lie.
That's the problem. What if it's just him as a guy? It doesn't make a difference whether he was is a great speaker or not. The fact that there are some people who said, you know what, I'm not going to let anything good happen under his administration because I don't like him. For whatever reason you want to call it.
I don't think this is personal. I don't think it's because of him. I think it is because that they have decided that this is the way that the country should go. And up to this point, the Republicans, I admired a whole lot of them. I believe that Barry Goldwater, for example, because I've posted a couple of some of my favorite quotes from him, was an honest, good-intended conservative that was every bit as concerned about the well-being of the whole country as I was. We only had different ways of going about to the same goals. I believe that this group, the Tea Party and all those other whack jobs, I believe they have a different vision for what this country is actually about.
But at the end of the day, though, to me, you can word it how you want, but if he is the leader of this country and he cannot get stuff through,
no president can get stuff through. But no president can get stuff through by himself.
But you do have influence, right? You can influence decisions.
No, you can't. You can't. No, you can't. You can't.
Sure you can.
You cannot influence
big
those.
business influences.
You cannot influence those that will not be influenced. Look,
somebody's being influenced.
Exactly,
and that is how all the time.
That is how the political climate has changed. Now, big money has taken over the system. It has not always been this way, and it doesn't have to always be this way. But right now, today, the Koch brothers said, if you vote to raise my taxes a dime, I'm going to money bomb you out of office.
And at this point, that's, what's Obama going to do? He can raise his fist. At this point, what can he do?
He's going to do what he's going to do exactly. He's going to do exactly what he did.
I'm going to get you guys.
He's going to do exactly what he did.
I'll put a flashlight on your stuff, and hopefully people will vote.
He's going to do exactly what he did. He took a side door. You know what? The military budget's going to be cut. You know what? There is going to be a reversal of the Bush tax cuts that have gotten us in all this trouble. I believe that is going to be the case, partially because of this deal that he negotiated. And by the way, there's this thing called the 99% movement. He is shining light, and they are scampering like the cockroaches they are. He's not. I believe that he's not directly. He hasn't directly inspired that movement, but the enthusiasm that he did inspire in his campaign lives on, even though he has become a part of the system that he's trying to change. I believe that he is to be credited a great deal for a lot of that which I have begun to call the 99% movement, and I think he's down with it, even though it's not particularly politically expedient to say so right now.
So let me ask you guys the question. So, knowing what you now know, Mike,
yeah,
how do you feel about their inability to get an outcome? I mean, to come out with something on the. They were basically saying on Monday and even Sunday, they were basically saying we're not going to get this thing through. I mean, and they had up until today, if I'm not mistaken. And they were already the 23rd. That was today. They had up until the 23rd to get this thing pushed through.
Yesterday on the news, they were saying that it's not going to happen.
So even on Sunday, they were saying it's not going to happen. So how does this make you feel? You're a voter, right? How does this make you feel to say, okay, all right, they didn't get this through?
Right.
How do you feel?
I think, well, I'm going to just say what I think. Okay. So one of my frat brothers said something when I first came in, and he was talking about just, the organization and different sides and people trying to make stuff happen and people not trying to make stuff happen. And basically he was saying this, that some people would rather the whole thing just collapse on itself versus try to, solve a problem. And I think that's what's happening with this government issue. Just hearing from what you guys are saying is that some people will let the whole thing just fall apart versus trying to come up with a solution or try to,
let the other side win.
Right. It's like, man, either it's going down, either I'm going to lose and everybody lose, or they're going to win. And I'm going to choose the side where everybody loses, including myself and everything like that. So it just seems like somebody doesn't want things to get better or provide or try to come up with a solution. So,
and the fact that you have two opposing sides that can't get something through, and maybe it was set up that way from the very beginning, is to say to have an even number of people that are on two opposing sides. An even number. Maybe you should have had an odd number. Like you had somebody who was like an independent in there as well to say, hey, look, we're going to throw a little squiggly in here and make it 13 people. And
there is nothing stopping us from forming. The political party was not part of the process that governs how that governs the process of how laws are made. The two political parties. That's something that has happened outside. That's something that's gone on by itself. There's nothing constitutional. There's nothing saying that we the people can't form a third party. The problem is, it is cost prohibitive at this point.
Yeah,
it costs a lot of money to get through. And I think this thing is coming. I think this thing is coming down. I think you brought up a really important point. This is thing for a lot of people back in the day. The Democrats and Republicans, I believe they were both looking to serve the best interest of we the people, and they had different ways of doing that. Today, I think some of these guys are about power at all costs. It's about the victory. It's about winning the points, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's sounding like. Like, hey, if I can get the most leverage, it doesn't even matter what happens after that.
Because I'm going to get paid, and these interests for whom I am lobbying, which is not those of we the people. If I can get by enough votes for those guys that aren't paying attention, yes, the process is broken. But I think there are good guys and bad guys here.
I agree, and I agree. But I think once you get into that space, and people they see the light and realize, hey, change is not as easy as we once thought that it would be.
You are so right, and you are also right about the idea that the framers of the Constitution and the process by which laws and budgets and stuff are made, they made it intentionally so the change would be really, really slow because they're going to be competing interests no matter what happens. Even in something as obvious as the abolition of slavery, there were powerful interests on the other side that made that process really, really, really slow.
Right.
And that is the downside of this thing we call representative democracy. Change does happen, but it's real slow, and it's by design. That way, we don't swing over into something really, really stupid really quickly. We get to because we go slow.
It's a process.
Yeah, it becomes we get the chance to stick our toe in the water before we realize it's too hot. Whereas if we jump in and we cook ourselves onto some decision that none of us could have known the consequences of. So I think that slowness, that built-in slowness of change is a good thing. But I think it's come to the point of gridlock, and I don't know if we need to change the system. Maybe some of the rules, especially as it comes to filibuster and the idea that we need to limit campaign contributions and the power of lobbyists. Again, that's got nothing to do with the Constitution and how laws are made. That is something that has come up as a sidebar along the way as part of our history, and we can get rid of that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree that, to me, if you're not a serious politician, I feel like you're losing power over the direction of this country when you elect people to do a job and neither to the left or to the right you get anything done because you're playing politics. I'm going to stop the process from happening by threatening to just to stop you from doing it. I almost like, if you're going to do it, as in the old days, if you were going to do a filibuster, you had to sit there and talk and hold the floor.
They would bring the wee bottles and the pots, and you would have to get on the microphone and explain to the Congress. And when C-SPAN was still out, you would have to explain to we the people why you're holding up.
That's right.
Why you're holding up progress.
But now it's just this other thing that's going on, and I really don't like that.
Make no mistake about it. Look at the charts of who used a filibuster and when, and now that's why a supermajority is required. Not just the 51 votes out of 100. You got to have a supermajority now because of the filibuster. It is again not part of the real process, the original process. It's one of those sidebar processes that have come up along the way. And again, we can get rid of the filibuster
Sure we
rules
can.
too. But the problem is with the representatives that want to get rid of the filibuster, they know that this knife cuts both ways. They can still use the filibuster, and maybe they're hesitant to get rid of it, even though they're on the short end of the stick now. It's because they know that
eventually they'll be on the other side.
Yeah, they think they'll be on the other side. Exactly, and I think at this point, the way the process has become, I think we the people have gotten the short end of the stick, and we got and that's why the 99% movement. I'm so hopeful about it, and despair is not an option, my friends.
Well, at some point, we're going to have to get – and this – if you remember me talking before about the comfort that people get into, people have to be they have to be put into a position where they're no longer comfortable, right? When you take away my television set and you take away my ability to enjoy life, that's when I say, wait a minute, something's not right here. That's when I'm going to complain.
The pain point.
And right now I think we're getting to that point where people are losing jobs. They are looking at this political process and saying, wait a second, y'all ain't even working.
Yep.
Something's not right here. And then they're going to say, well, here's the problem. The problem is we got to have a supermajority to make anything go through. People are then going to say, wait a second, y'all need to fix that.
Or the problem is the rich are paying too much taxes when the reality is they're paying less taxes in our history. And ever since those Bush tax cuts went into effect, jobs have been going down. And the stimulus package didn't work. That's a lie. That's when jobs... That's when the process of job loss started to slow down and started going back the other way. Don't let them tell that lie to you either. Like the stimulus package didn't work. That is a lie. By the way, that was deficit spending. But there are smart deficits and there are dumb deficits. Going into a war that we had no business in, that's $1 trillion dumb deficit. Spending a couple of million to keep a whole city of car makers alive and all those businesses around them and the FedEx guys that deliver stuff to them, that's a smart deficit. That's how governments get their way out of economic depression. They create jobs and they spend their way out. Don't let them lie to you.
Well, here's the thing, and part of the issue I'm running into with this, as we look at this right now, is that people don't have to understand the political process. They just have to know that something's not right. Something's not working.
You're right. I think that's both a blessing and a curse. That they don't understand the process. They don't care about the process. They don't care about the process. They just feel the pain. And I think that is leading people to understand the process.
Right.
Once they see how this process directly affects them, and how decisions from 5-10 years ago are now coming home to roost that they weren't paying attention now.
Right.
Dude, you're sitting at home. You got nothing else to do but pay attention.
Well, they're gonna say, look, and this is, I think, at the end of the day, they're gonna say, look, I don't understand politics. Right. I don't understand how some of this stuff works. Even though I was in World Civ and whatever courses that I was in high school. Right. The fact that I don't understand all that doesn't matter, and it shouldn't have to matter. What should have to matter is the people that can make solutions happen understand the process. You understand that I need a job. That's at the end of the day. You understand that I can't feed my family. And you understand that if you don't fix this problem, something is going to happen. And you don't want to find out what that something is. And what we are now beginning to see, when you look at downtown Raleigh and downtown Durham and you look at Wall Street and you look at wherever they are, when people are sitting there saying, and college students are being pepper sprayed for the sake of these issues.
And not one banker, not one bankster that corrupted this thing and took on huge, exorbitant, obscene compensation packages in the same year. Not one of those cats has gone to jail. And they're jailing kids by saying, dude, what's wrong with this picture?
That pendulum is swinging. And people are not gonna stand for that. I think a great example of something that happened really quickly is Bank of America, where these banks were saying, "Hey, we're gonna charge y'all for, again, $5 a month to use your debit card." Right? That's all it took for people to start saying, "Wait a minute, we're looking for someplace else to go. We're gonna take our money someplace else where we can take it." I think the political process is much more complicated than that, and it's gonna require some more of these, these sit-ins, these protests. It's gonna take more people at the polls to say, you know what, we're not gonna vote for you because you can't make things happen. But at the end of the day, the people are gonna speak. And it's going to take some time to get all these people moving in the same direction.
They're speaking now, and those they need to speak to, they're having a hard time shutting the people up.
Well, and I think they better be afraid because, you got however many months until the next election. This is not going to go away. And it's going to get worse because more schools, and not only our schools here in the United States, but other places in other countries are also joining in and saying, you know what, we are affected by your health.
We live in a global economy.
We're all right. Connected. So you can't. So everybody's saying, look, y'all need to fix this. You guys are the last strong economy. You guys set the precedence for what other countries do, and if you guys fail,
well stated,
then you could potentially affect everybody else. So y'all better get this thing corrected and get it corrected quickly, because we're not going to stand for this. And I think that's where people are. If they're not afraid yet, they will be.
And with good reason.
Absolutely.
History has shown us time and time again, you can't. A large number of people will only tolerate being so poor and so hungry in the face of opulence.
Mm-hmm.
They're only going to put up with it for so long.
Right. And maybe that's this, and maybe and going back to your point, maybe that's the position of President Obama. Maybe he says, okay, I'll tell you what. If I can hold on long enough to let you see for yourself what's really going on and the fact that things aren't happening, and it is a risky game though, because he stands to lose as well. He said this in early on in his campaign, and even into many of the interviews. He said, "Look, if the economy doesn't get better, then I'm a one-term president." And right now, he is facing that very reality that people are going to look to him and say, "Look, dude, I mean, your rating
what up
it's the unemployment.
Really bad.
There's an over/under for the unemployment rate that has remained true for I don't remember how long it's been, but it's over and under is like 6.5%, and we're close to 10 now. There's no way that the unemployment rate is going to get down to 6.5%. I don't think a president has ever been reelected with an unemployment rate of, I think it was 6.5. Don't quote me there, but there is a certain number, and it is way, way far away from where our economy, our unemployment is now. It's not going to happen.
Right.
I think that the president can make a really strong case for this really isn't my fault, and it would have been a whole lot worse had we continued to go in the same direction that got us here. And don't vote for this guy, be it Mitt Romney or Newt Gingrich, because they are not talking about going in the direction to fix things. And I think that he can make a case that he has been fixing things. It's been really slow, but it's because those guys that have leveraged those rules and changed the nature of the game, and they are open about not doing any. They have voted for stuff that they proposed once Obama put forth, set it into a bill to vote on. They voted against some of their own ideas in order to. Again, I think this has gone beyond the idea of governance. It is all about the acquisition and retention of power for some of these players in the game, and all he can do is shine a light on them and watch them scamper like the roaches they are.
Sure,
I think he's doing as good a job for that. I think the history's going to look upon this guy as a whole lot better than I look upon him right now. He's in a real bad spot. He's playing with some scoundrels.
Sure, but at the same time, you got to look at the fact that and I remember there was a great discussion about this one morning about people elected the Tea Party folks into office, and I think they are the far extreme of conservatism, whereas you have like the regular Republicans who are conservative. Then you got the extreme conservatives, which are the Tea Party.
I said it before, and I'll say it
they're
again.
the ones that are keeping the regular conservatives from being able to work together with the.
I think you're right.
Democrats.
I think you're right. In my adult life, I think I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The left has moved to the center has moved to the right, and the right has moved to the crazy house. And that's where these Tea Party guys are. They're talking about getting rid of the EPA, so the job creators, note the air quotes there, can do their thing. We have to choose between clean air and water and jobs. No, we don't. No, we don't. We can do those things that good governance has done for our entire history. We create new sectors. This idea of clean energy and solar power and getting off of our addiction to oil, as both Bushes called it, that's a new industry, like the internet was in the 80s and 90s. There are new industries waiting to happen, but they're not going to happen all by themselves because they are a little cost prohibitive, and governments like they did in the railroads with railroads that made us an industrial power. They have to take the lead, and because there's not going to be one company that does this and creates this brand new economy on spec. It can be done, but we need to get active and get informed.
All right.
We're going to get our long weekend on.
All right, y'all. I'm going to let that be the last comment. Thank you, Derek.
Thank you. What a blast.
Mike. It was a good conversation. Really enjoyed hanging out with you guys. And I want to say thank you to you, too, Alan Tran, Eagle Went. Thank you, sir. Eileen Smith, and all of you listening live in an archive. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We really do appreciate it. Have a wonderful and really enjoyable happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. Don't forget, we will be here tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, whether we're munching on a turkey or not. We'll be here hanging out with you. Don't forget, we are here every Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also download this and all of our episodes by going to blogtalkradio.com/Damond Nollan. You can also find us. We are now going to a new service called Stitcher, which you can take us on the road with you as well.
Really?
Yes, and I'll share that with you guys as well. Anyway, enjoy your day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then,
tomorrow.
Mike?
Deuces.
Deuces.
Gobble, gobble.